Hello, and a massive welcome to week 2 in our Success in 6 group coaching program. This week's training is something that is absolutely fundamental to your success, and it basically revolves around understanding who your customers are and what they really are buying from you. So, our first video training is, what are your customers really buying from you, and is it what you originally thought? And I think it's really important to stress that knowing what you offer, which we covered last week, and your story, and getting a bit more of an idea about how to be yourself in your business, and then matching that with who wants those transformations the most and your ideal client is the quickest way to success in business, because what you're really doing is you're filling a gap in the market, and that's so much easier than trying to create demand for something that people maybe don't really want as much. So, what is the purpose of today's training? So, in today's training, what we really want is for you to get confident in exactly what it is you sell and why your customers want it before promoting it with ease. Because, as you know, in next week's training, we're going to cover marketing on a budget and how you can market within the constraints of your budget just now, and how to best use any money that you do have on marketing, because traditional marketing is very hard to measure. And we want to look at ways that we can actually test and measure absolutely everything that you are doing. So let's move on. What will we cover today? And we'll cover quite a few things. And essentially, these are what you're selling. This is what you are selling. You are selling first and foremost your transformations. So your transformations are the end result, the end result of what you sell. Your transformations are how their lives improve as a result of what you offer. The next thing that we're selling is your approach. So how do you approach your industry? How are you different to your competitors? How is your approach unique and something that really connects with your customers? And if it's not unique, i.e., you're not the only person doing it, how are you unique? So, how does your truth come into it? How does you bringing a different view of the industry make a difference? How does you offering something with your honesty, with your purpose, with your passion, your truth, how does that make a difference? And we're also selling your expertise. We're also selling the fact that you can do something that other people can't, and you are an expert in what you do. And last but not least, are we selling your time? And we won't answer that till we come to the last slide. So let's look at who my ideal client is and what am I selling. And basically, what I'm selling is a shortcut. So I sell you a shortcut to sales success. And essentially, the way that I do that is I help you be you to sell more. I want to help people be themselves in their business. I want to help people build a business that they feel comfortable in, so that they don't have to adopt any icky techniques that they don't like. And I also want to educate people on business, because as we said in last week's training, you are not a massage therapist, you are not a reflexologist, you are not a network marketing professional, you're a salesperson who works in those industries. And I think it's so important to remember that you're always a salesperson. So I'm actually selling sales and business experience so that you don't have to go through the mistakes that I made. Now, let's move on to your transformations. Now, we touched on this last week, and I know you've written down your transformations, but again, this is about getting mega clear on what your transformations are. And we're going to look at a few examples as to how these are promoted, so that when we come to marketing next week, you'll already have a head start. So your transformations are the positive impact you have in the lives of your customers. So that could be the positive impact that your service has, or that the results that your product generates. If you sell a weight loss product, if you sell a healthcare product, what are the results that they generate? And the impact they experience as a result of what you offer. So how is their life better? How do they celebrate this? So it's always the end result and how they feel after buying your product or services. Now, you might think, okay, Orla, we went through this last week, and the reason that we're briefly touching on it today is because it's so essential and it's so important that you understand the transformations. And I want to give you an example as to how people do this just now. Now, here are some adverts that I found recently. So the top advert there on the left-hand side is of basically kids playing in a lovely sunny destination, having an absolutely fantastic time. And that's basically the transformation that Jet2holidays sell. So this is an advert that I saw for Jet2holidays. I walk up Leith Walk in Edinburgh quite a lot, and they always pay for a billboard on Leith Walk, and it always says the same thing: kids go free. So kids go free is your feature. So your feature of kids going free is that you don't have to budget for them, and they're the expensive little things when it comes to holidays. The benefit of the kids going free is that you don't have to worry. You can find somewhere easily within your budget. They're taken care of. You don't have to worry about their food. Most of the places will have a kids club, etc. But the transformation of kids going free is that you create memories. You have lovely, happy children. You have children that are experiencing something possibly for the first time and they feel amazing. And you have kids that are just absolutely over the moon. And that's what you're selling. So you don't have to mention the flight times. You don't have to mention the destinations. You don't have to mention any of these things at this stage. You just mention the fact that kids go free and you show that transformation, which is happy kids creating memories, and you're sold. The next one there, moving along to the right, and it's the absolutely beautiful woman who is helping market the new foam conditioner for Pantene. Now, I've not seen this, so I don't know. I was literally looking up adverts, but essentially what you're selling there is how that lady looks and her hair. Now, we all know that when we buy Pantene, we're not going to look like that, but we're going to feel like our hair is so light and fluffy and beautiful and wavy and amazing. So you wouldn't show like a zoom in of someone's hair or someone just kind of lying down, sitting at an office, sitting at a desk. Everything about that picture is light and airy. You know, her dress is light and airy, her face is light and airy. So essentially what they're selling is the fact that you feel amazing and you feel like lifted as a result of using this conditioner. Now, whether that's entirely true is another thing. I think essentially we all know that we're not going to feel absolutely fantastic just because of a conditioner. But how many times have you tried something new and you kept touching your hair because you feel amazing and you're like, oh, that does feel absolutely fantastic. Moving down just below her is my lovely friend Rowan Atkinson, aka Mr. Bean. And in the Snickers advert, I don't know if you've seen it, but basically this amazing warrior turns into Mr. Bean when he's hungry. And it's like the slogan is, you're not you when you're hungry, because somebody who can do amazing martial arts becomes this fumbling idiot and falls through a ceiling. So Snickers aren't selling the calories, they're not selling the chocolate, they're not selling the sugar hit, they're selling getting the real you back. So by having that slogan, you're not you when you're hungry, the transformation that they're selling is the real you coming back. And I love that advert because I think it's so funny, because I don't know if you've ever been hangry, but as someone who recently gets hangry quite a lot, you don't feel like yourself and you snap at people and you're grumpy and you say the wrong things and you look at them. So the idea that you can eat one thing and get back to your normal self again is absolutely fantastic. So moving on to the left then, and we'll all recognise Julia Roberts, and she is obviously advertising La Vie est Belle, so perfume. And I think it's actually what they're selling here is luxury. So the transformation that they're selling here is that you'll feel like a movie star while you're wearing this perfume. You're going to feel like a celebrity. So we all want to feel that way. We all want to feel special. We all want to feel important. And that's essentially what perfume is selling. They're not selling that scent that sticks on your arm for 10 minutes and then for the rest of the day no one can smell it, only strangers. What they are selling is the fact that when you put that on, you feel luxurious. Now, I know this to be true because I just went out for lunch with my friend Kerry, and she took out her lovely expensive perfume and I was like, oh, give me a spray of that, and I sprayed it on. That was only about an hour ago. I can no longer smell the perfume, but when I put it on, I was like, oh, that smell is so luxurious. I feel amazing. And I still feel like I feel amazing, even though I can't smell the perfume anymore. So there are some examples of transformations. And what I want you to do is to look out for them absolutely everywhere, because it's the transformations that resonate with you as a client and as a customer. And only by knowing the transformations that you offer and who wants those, can you develop excellent relationships with your customers, because Kids Go Free speaks to people who want to create amazing, amazing memories with their kids. That's what speaks. It's not about the free package. It's not about the saving costs on the kids. It's all about you can create memories for your kids for free. And we all know that the cost of that kid's holiday is factored into the price of the adult's holiday. It's the same when you say kids eat free. We all know, but essentially as a parent, that's your main concern. For anyone who's been hungry or hangry, you have to think all you want to do is eat something to get you back to your old self again. You want to concentrate, you want to get your work done, and that's what Snickers are selling. So why are transformations so important? They help you grow your confidence in why customers should choose you. Yeah, we want to start with your confidence. I want you to be the most confident person at what you do, because you know that you make a difference. You know that you're amazing. They are what really connects you to your customer, which I think we've touched on, and they're what customers really, really care about. So that's enough on transformations for now. We're going to move on to the new content and the more exciting bits. And the next bit is your approach. And your approach is basically the you in your business, the what makes you different. And in every single industry, even when people are buying and selling the same products and services, there'll always be different approaches. And the approaches basically revolves around your ethos. It revolves around your personality. It revolves around how you want to be perceived in the market. For me, it's very much about being approachable, but being really, really honest. And actually tapping into the fact that I do swear, I do say the wrong thing, I do fumble, but actually it doesn't really bother me. So what approach are you taking in your business? Because it's going to be those little quirks that people either love or hate. If they hate you, that's brilliant. Hating you, if you read the book, The Kardashian Principle, is the best thing ever, because nowadays people can never appeal to absolutely everyone. It's all about Marmite. It's all about love or hate. So if people hate you, that is brilliant. You're getting noticed. And what it basically means through the law of opposites is that people are naturally going to love you. So what is your approach? Is your approach to be really supportive and kind and understanding? Maybe you're one of these people who likes to help people all of the time, and that's really, really what you do well. Is your approach going to be honest and effective? You're going to blow apart all of the myths in the industry, and there's myths in every industry. There's myths in the beauty industry that we need to look a certain way. There's myths in the business industry. There's myths in the food industry. There's myths in the self-care industry, in the network marketing industry, in the massage, in the training. Every industry, there's myths there. So you're going to be honest and effective and just kind of say, no, that is total bullshit. Here's what you really need to know. Or maybe you're going to be quirky and funny. Maybe you're going to stand out through your personality. Maybe a bit of a Bridget Jones type character who is really, really not afraid to make people laugh and actually laugh at themselves as well. So we want to decide on your approach, because much like your transformations, your approach is what's going to really, really, really connect you to your customers as well. And we're going to look at some different types of approaches just now. And I absolutely love these examples, mainly because they're very easy for us to see the difference, but also I've chosen people in similar industries so that you can get an idea of the different types of approaches and start to see it. One approach that I didn't include a photo of is Nike and Adidas, for example. So Nike and Adidas are both in like the trainer industry, the sportswear industry, but the type of approach that they choose, Nike is all about sports stars, the professionalism. They sponsor Rory McIlroy, they sponsor Tiger Woods. Everything they do is about sport. And if you buy Nikes or Nikes, it is literally because you want to be a sports star and you take your sports really, really seriously. But maybe you buy Adidas or Adidas, as I like to call it. Maybe you buy Adidas, and chances are you buy that because you want something to wear every day. I just wore my Adidas runners to meet with 2 clients this morning and then out for lunch, because I wear them with leggings and a top. I'm not doing any sport, but they feel casual. So they're more about sportswear as a casual brand. And if you look at the people that promote Adidas, it's like will.i.am, and it's singers, and it's people who have nothing to do with professional sports, but they wear these types of clothes, and they wear them because they actually look good and they make it fashionable. So 2 different sportswear companies there, one aimed at professionals, the other aimed at fashionistas who want to be a wee bit more fashionable. So coming down into the other different types of approaches as well. So top left hand side, we have got Gillian McKeith and Joe Wicks. And we used Joe as an example last week as well, because he's a really, really easy and effective example. So Gillian McKeith, those of you who do or do not remember her, remember she had all those programs out around about 2004 to about 2008, I think, until they realised she wasn't a real doctor. But anyway, she was honest and effective. She literally blew apart the myths about the food industry, and she would walk up to people and say, "You're fat. I cannot believe you eat this, you're a pig." And remember, she would examine people's personal waste to see what they were eating, how it was working. And she was very much about tough love. She was very much about, this is a disaster, you cannot treat your body like this. And it was like an electric shock. And she had 8 weeks in her program, You Are What You Eat, to generate results. And without fail, she would generate those results for her customers. And she did it by being honest and a wee bit like a bulldozer. Now, whether you agree with that approach or not, it's just one way that's out there, and it's a way that works. The other approach there, when we come beside, is Joe Wicks, and you can see him there using the broccoli as a weightlifting object, and dumbbells, I think is the right word. And again, the beauty of Joe Wicks is that he talks about how, you can eat food for power. He's really kind. He's really understanding. He started his healthcare business when he was a personal trainer, designed around helping people just run fitness classes. He wanted to run fitness classes in his local park and make people feel better. It was all about boosting their confidence. It was about being really kind and caring. His 15-second videos show meals that everyone can make. And his approach is, if through his videos or through his fitness business, he can encourage more people to exercise, he will be absolutely delighted. So he's got a much kinder approach, a much softer approach. It's more understanding. It's more about speaking to the client about where they are now and supporting them to where they want to go. And it's not to say that either approach is better than the other. I might naturally resonate more with one approach, but essentially both approaches worked in terms of, helping them build a business, build awareness, and position them as experts in their industry. Because let's not forget, Gillian McKeith was on our TV for about 5-6 years. So she was really, really up there as well. Moving on, we have Lidl versus Marks and Spencer's. So those of us that have shopped in Lidl, which I'm sure is absolutely everyone, know that Lidl's approach is about literally bog standard, no frills. You walk in there, we don't even play music. Half of the stuff we can't even be bothered unpacking and stacking on the shelves properly. We mainly stock own brands, but our approach is to provide cheap food at cheap prices. And they've actually become famous for their, was it Aldi or Lidl's gin this week? Their £10 gin is award winning. I think it was Aldi. So they're actually showing that you don't have to be expensive to have really, really good brands. And then, when you go in, they always have their offers on the fruit and veg. They have a certain price range. They have their fresh bread now when you go in. So their approach is to show you don't have to spend a fortune to do your weekly shopping. When they have their adverts and they show their adverts, they show you can buy this bottle of champagne in Sainsbury's for $29.99, or you can get our award-winning Prosecco or Parma ham or bread rolls or potato wedges or absolutely everything. So they're basically showing you that for the price of a bottle of champagne, we can give you a picnic. So their approach revolves around value for money and actually appealing to people on a budget who want to get more for their money. And it's ingenious, by stocking brands that you're not familiar with, Nobody really knows if the brands taste good or not. It's not like they're stocking a cheap brand and saying, come here and only get a cheap brand. They're stocking their own brands. So they're saying, come here and get our own brands. So you're choosing their own brands by default. It's not like when you go into Tesco's and you're competing against Hellmann's mayonnaise, Heinz mayonnaise, and their own brand mayonnaise. It's only Lidl's. And I know they've got a few other branded items as well, but for the most part, it's mainly Lidl own brands. And obviously they have their deluxe range as well, but which is still really good value for money. And then we look at the approach of Marks and Spencer's food. I love Marks and Spencer's food. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And what they do really well is their approach is to niche down, and they appeal in their food to every different subsection. So whereas Lidl might have a risotto at a really, really good, reasonable price, Marks and Spencer's will have a gluten-free risotto. They will have a vegetarian risotto. They will have a meat risotto. They will have a fish risotto. They will have a mushroom and ham risotto. They will give you loads of different options of the one product at a premium price. So they have their health food range, which is absolutely huge. Then their fruit and veg is close to extortionate, but you know the quality is fantastic. So this is for the people who want to pay more money to get a much higher quality product, or so they say. What I love about Marks and Spencer's now is they do a gluten-free range like absolutely no one else, which is brilliant for anyone who's gluten-free. And I've been gluten-free since I was 16. So it's absolutely brilliant to be able to go in there and get like gluten-free cheese and onion rolls, or a gluten-free quiche, or a gluten-free like Rice Krispie bar, all of the things that you have never seen before. Marks and Spencer seem to be selling. So they're appealing to very, very small subsections of the market, and it means they can charge more money for it. So it's a very different approach to Lidl, even though they're in the same industry. So I hope you're starting to see that you can be in the same industry as someone else, and your approach can make you stand out as someone really, really different. And the next one is the business industry, and in terms of leaders of industry. And I think everyone knows there's a massive difference between Richard Branson and Donald Trump. And for the avoidance of doubt, I absolutely detest Donald Trump. But you cannot argue that his approach doesn't work. It's absolutely fantastic, because his approach is just to offend everyone and to be seen as being honest. And when we talk about telling your truth and blowing apart myths that are in an industry, or speaking up about things that other people will remain silent on, that's something Donald Trump has been absolutely fantastic about. And it's because of this that he has resonated with so many people. So Donald Trump has failed at most of his businesses. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, not actually as successful a business person as you might be led to believe, but his personal brand and his approach is to make me a brand, and to make me a brand by being like a bulldozer, and that has led to him being president of the free world. So he's doing something right, although maybe not what he's supposed to be doing right. But his approach stands him apart from someone like Virgin and Richard Branson. So Richard Branson is also the face of his industry. He was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. When he was a teenager, his parents would drop him off far away from home, and he would have to find his own way home. And they did that so he could trust his own judgment. That's a hashtag parenting goal for me. He started to trust his own decisions. Virgin came about because he wanted to blow apart the music industry, then the flight industry. He took on BA in the 80s. He's always trying to do something better. He's always trying to do something bigger. His focus is wholly and exclusively on what he's working on that time. Yes, he's had failures, but they've been by no means to the same heights as the Trump failures. We all remember Virgin Cola, which failed miserably, but they don't mention that really that much. But like Trump had board games and all sorts of things that failed. Trump Towers in parts of America, all sorts of things that failed. So again, even as a business person and even as the face of your own brand, you can have a different approach. So there we've had 4 examples as to how your approach and how you come at your business can make you stand out. And it's about you finding out what is your approach. So we'll go back to, what approach are you taking in your business? Are you in the supportive and kind, honest and effective, quirky and funny? Maybe you're just going to be say it as it is and you're going to drop truth bombs. Maybe your approach is to be like a mom with attitude. Maybe your approach is to be a single person with attitude. Maybe your approach is to just kind of promote the fact that, you know, You might want to remain single and run your own business. You might want to remain without children and run your own business. Are you taking an approach that supports the environment? Are you taking a stand because you actually say, do you know what, I look quite like Botox and it's something different? And what is your approach? Is your approach the fact that you're fed up seeing people undercharging for their services, or you're fed up seeing people wasting their life in a business that doesn't work for them, so you promote a network marketing business? Whatever your approach is, realize that it has to be a part of you, and it will really, really help you stand out from your competition who are doing the exact same thing, working in the exact same industry, and it's your approach that makes you stand out as being completely different. And these examples, as you can see, are polar opposites. So, when we're talking about telling the truth, I love telling the truth. I think it's absolutely essential. And I think it's about being honest with your customers. And I think in every industry, we need to be honest with our customers. We saw it back in the 80s when the Body Shop first came on the scene, and they started by telling their customers something that others were afraid to tell them, and that is that beauty products are tested on animals. It's incredibly cruel. Those poor animals suffer. And don't believe that they're tested on animals because they don't want to test them on humans. No, you test them on animals first and you test them on humans second. So shop at the Body Shop, because we don't test our products on animals. And that truth actually helped them create an approach and create a brand that worked really, really well for them. And your truth means that you stand for something and that you're authentic. And in every industry, like if it's reflexology, you stand for the fact that you need to take care of yourself. If it's yoga, you stand for the fact that, it's a holistic approach and that you want to take care of yourself. But maybe you're holistic, but you're not too airy-fairy. So it's city life holistic approach. You want to be authentic. You have to genuinely believe that this works. You don't want to be there supporting animal rights and then actually not to do that behind the scenes. When the Body Shop sold out to a company that actually tested on animals, it wasn't really the best for them in terms of publicity. But again, we are all essentially contradictions. Your truth, you want to genuinely care about what's in the best interests of your customers and show empathy. So you're not being honest because you want to hurt anyone's feelings. You're actually being honest because you genuinely care about them and you want to feel better about themselves. And you want to blow to pieces the contradictions that you see in the marketplace. And I mean really blow to pieces those contradictions. Because you have to be honest. There's so much shit out there. There's so much information out there that they really need someone who's prepared to be open and honest. And this actually makes fantastic content for all of your Facebook and social media, etc. So let's go back to those examples that we had a few minutes ago, and what truth do they tell? And it's pretty similar to your approach, but Gillian McKeith, the truth that she told was that you cannot continue eating the same shit processed food all of the times and not expect to put on weight. You're basically killing yourself. That was her truth. Joe Wicks, his truth is that actually you've got to go easy on yourself if you want to make changes, and here's how I can help you do that. Lidl's truth: why waste money on one item when you can feed your family for a week for it? Isn't there better things you could be doing with that money? Surely you want to spend it on other things. Marks and Spencer's Foods, their truth, for me especially, would be treat yourself to a product you cannot find anywhere else. We're the only ones that sell this product, We're the only ones that have this gluten-free product, that have these 7 different types of risotto, that have these oranges that cost £3 but taste absolutely amazing. Come and buy them from us. Virgin, their truth is that if you work really hard and you're innovative, you can have a success in most industries. And it boils down to customer experiences as well, because I don't know if you've ever been on a Virgin train, but they're the nicest people doing announcements ever on a train, because they look at more of the journey in terms of literally just the destination. And Donald Trump, his truth when it came to the presidential election campaign was actually to blow apart the fact that people are politically correct. He's highlighted America as quite a racist country, and one that's kind of worrying. But actually, is it the truth? Who knows? But his truth was that people actually don't want everyone to be equal. They want to look after themselves. And unfortunately, that's resonated with quite a lot of people, but they admire him for telling the truth. So, the next thing that you're selling is your expert status, and we have discussed this. And by now, looking at last week's, you should know what you're an expert in. You're an expert at helping your customers move from the pain of not having what you offer to the pleasure of having it. So, you need to say, "Hi, my name is, and I help you achieve X so that you can." Hi, my name's Orla, and I help you achieve sales in your business so that you can use that to live the life of your dreams. And you're an expert through your approach and the truth that you tell them. Does that make sense? So what makes you stand out as an expert is through your approach. And we see that people do this in every single industry. This isn't something that people just do in service-based industries. They create themselves, either position themselves as experts in product-based industries as well. Touching on how to be an authentic expert. One, we want to understand what it really, really means to be an expert. And being an expert just means that you're the best at what you do now, and the best at what you do when you consider the fact that only you can offer your transformations with your approach, with your truth. There's not too many people that can compete with that. And you have to act like an expert. Stop selling yourself short. Stop being underprepared. Go out there and invest in the right technologies. Invest in that, scheduling software for appointments. Invest in those card machines so that you can take payment. Get PayPal on your website. Do all of these things to make it easier. My fiance told me yesterday that Lothian buses in Edinburgh are going to start taking FastPay. So they're going to start taking contactless. Now, when I first moved to Edinburgh, it was like coins on the bus, and that's the only way you could pay. Then you'd coins on the bus, and then for a while you could pay at the ticket machines, and then you could download the app and you could pay £10 and reload it, etc. Nowadays we can pay by contactless. That is absolutely incredible. And do you know what that will do for their business? That will absolutely catapult their business, because they're acting like an expert, because they know that people want to pay for travel in a way that's convenient for them, and everyone now pays by contactless. So if we're worrying about accepting card payments and there's people out there on buses taking contactless, we need to think twice. We have to use the technology available to us. And I think it's about researching what technologies other people are using in your industries. Are there any other technologies in other industries that you can use as well? In order to be an expert, you need to raise your standards. You cannot accept non-ideal customers. You cannot accept customers that don't pay on time. You cannot accept customers that don't value you. And this is in the long term. I understand in the short term that we have bills to pay, but we want to raise your standards and we want to raise your rates. Experts are never the cheapest. Never, 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 ever the cheapest. And you're skeptical of people who are cheapest. I was walking down the street the other day, and I saw a handwritten sign in red marker, and it was like gents haircut 6, women's haircut 10. No, I would never go in there for a haircut. Not if you paid me, because I'm expecting to come out with it looking like crap. She could be an award-winning hairdresser. She could be the best in the world, or he could be the best in the world. But the fact that they're charging a tenner, no, not happening. So last but not least, are you selling your time? Think about it. So we've looked at what you're selling. You're selling your transformations, you're selling your expertise, you're selling your approach, you're selling your truth. Are you selling your time? No. The answer is hell no. From this moment forward, you are never selling your time, because if you sell your time, it's the quickest way to becoming a commodity. Or if you itemize things and break them down and sell them based on an item, like you're just becoming a commodity. Like I went out for lunch today and I had a salad, but they didn't break it down saying the lettuce is 80p. The tomatoes are 90p. They sold you the salad, the entire thing, the result. When have you ever bought something you really loved by the hour? Think about it. You need to stop charging by the hour. Even if you got a massage, yes, it was 1 hour long, but you weren't paying for a 1 hour massage. You were paying for the relaxation and how amazing you felt after that 1 hour massage, and the fact that it was carefree. you know, remove stress, all of those things. Stop charging by the hour. And this involves classes, this involves products, this involves your services. You don't walk into a shop and say, can I have a 2-hour hairstyle, please? You know, you don't say, can I have a 2-hour facial, please? It's the same as you don't walk into a shop and you say, can I have a pair of jeans for someone who's 10 stone? You know, you cannot scale by charging by the hour because there's only 24 hours in the day. You cannot move to do group programs if you charge by the hour. You know, if you work and you create anything, so the equivalent for product-based businesses of charging by the hour is itemizing every single thing that you do. No. Next week we'll look at creating packages, but you have to charge based on the demonstrable results you can generate. Only you care about the hour. And as you get on with this, as you get better, you will find different ways, more time effective ways of generating the same results. So right now you might do one-to-one yoga classes and you might charge for those results. But going forward, you might do your online yoga classes and you might reach 20 times the number of people. And if your mindset is, well, I'm going to charge by the hour because that's only 1 hour it took me to do that class, well, there's no point in you taking on more people. So you're going to charge by the results that you demonstrate. The best example you can give of this is film stars and movie stars. They get paid like 20 million a film because they're worth it, because by them being in that film, more people go and see it. So how can you stop charging for your time if it's something that you're used to doing? List all of the results that you generate. We know what your transformations are, and consider how these will positively impact your customer. So if you're coming for a one-to-one reflexology, yoga, if you're coming for a fantastic beauty treatment, if I'm coming to buy amazing products from you, it's about what's the positive impact on that life and what's it worth to your customer. It's worth shitloads. You know, like if I felt like crap 1 minute, had these amazing yoga or reflexology classes or this amazing treatment, or I drank this amazing aloe vera product, or I had this massage, or I got these amazing cupcakes that made me feel better, that is worth so much more to me than 1 hour of my time. And I'll give you an example. If I go to a restaurant and they've got a gluten-free vegetarian option, I don't care that I'm getting less food and I'm normally paying more. I'm happy to pay more. Yeah. And how can you demonstrate this? How can you demonstrate these results and how they're worth more to your customer? So how can you tell them? And I think we really need to stop charging for your time. And I think if your pricing structure is based on your time, let's commit to next week just throwing that out the window once we create packages. But a time will feature into it because we only have 24 hours in the day. We can only help people for a certain amount, but you're not charging for that set time period. So let's move on to your summary. You are never selling your time. I'm starting working back the way. Never, ever, ever. Stop. Get it out of your head. You're always selling the transformations that you offer with your approach, with your truth, and through your expertise. So that is what you are selling. So essentially, what does that mean? You're selling you. You're selling the wonderful person that is you, how amazing you are, how sensational you are, how fantastic you are, your fantastic personality. And the best thing about that means no one can replicate that. There will never, ever be anyone else like you. You are amazing. You are fantastic. Okay, so what do we need to do now? You have your worksheet, so fill in your worksheet with this, but I want you to get crystal clear on your transformations. Crystal clear on what your approach is. Oh, tell me about your approach. How are you going to approach the market? How are you going to be different? How are you going to stand out from the competition? How is the real you going to be fantastic? And for those of us in a franchise, it's still your personality that you bring to the table. What's your truth? What do you honestly want to share with customers? What do you want to tell them that's something different? And what's the expertise that you offer? And again, just a reminder, stop selling your time. Become more efficient. Use modern technology to become more efficient. And remember that no one pays for time, or they don't pay for a breakdown of packages. They always pay for the results they experience during this time frame and afterwards. Okay, I'm so looking forward to seeing you in training video 2. Any questions, post them in the Facebook group and we will go from there. Thank you. Bye.